Welcome to Seattle Public Utilities Ask Evelyn Live. I'm Gemini Davis. We are pleased to present the Recycle Madness Big Reveal. This month, we're taking a page from the college basketball playbook with Recycle Madness. We will have matchups of the most maddening items to recycle, but in the end, only one can be crowned as champion. As always, Pat and Becca will be here to join you on the trash talking fun. Let's get started. Hope you all are enjoying your day so far. We've been waiting for this for a while, so this is something that we've been working a lot on.
Gemini,
oh, hey Pat, how's it going?
Hey.
Hey. Great to
Absolutely.
see you, Becca. Great to see you both.
Absolutely. Here we go, people. This is good.
It feels like the time is finally here. I'm so excited
Absolutely.
to finally be part of this and get
Everybody
started.
loves a bracket and everybody loves recycling. So it's, where two things meet in the middle. And, a little friendly competition. So, awesome.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thank you guys so much for being part of this show. It's going to be really, really fun. So, Pat, why don't you tell us just a little bit more? Gemini, give us a little bit of preface.
You bet. Good afternoon, Recycle fans. We are here. Play some serious game going on here. We got some brackets to look at. We got some activity. This is the big reveal show today. I'm Pat Kaufman. I'm with Seattle Public Utilities. I do the commercial recycling and program outreach. And we're talking here today about the big reveal. It's the big bracket. It's Recycle Madness. One of the most maddening items that you can think of in the recycling stream. We're going to talk about it today. They're all part of the big bracket. And we got a big dance card to go over here. So I hand it over to you, Becca.
Absolutely. So you guys may be wondering how we are going to seed all of these different items, because there are thousands of items out there to recycle, right? And all of them have little nuances. And Recycle Madness, like everything in Ask Evelyn, is run on your questions. So questions you have sent us about hard to recycle items on the Where Does It Go tool, sent to us at askevelyn@seattle.gov, and also asked us the old-fashioned way in person when we're out there talking to all of you lovely people. So all of that put together is how all of these different items got ranked in the championship bracket. And for the big reveal, Gemini is going to help walk us through the different seating so you guys know, as you guys go and look at your brackets, kind of where we're at, and so you can predict who's going to be the champion. So, all right, Gemini, you want to kick us off with the first region?
Yes, thank you for that breakdown, Becca. And as you said, we'll be focusing on 4 regions here. We have the plastics region. We also have the paper region. We also have the textiles and housewares region. And our fourth, last but not least, would be metal and electrical. And from there, let's start off with the plastic region, where we have our number 1 seeded clamshell matching up with the number 8 plastic jug. Pat and Becca, do you have some thoughts on that matchup?
I'll tell you one thing about this one. The plastic jug was kind of on the bubble, right? It was like, do we want to talk about this or not? But it's those pesky resin codes. That's what people have questions about. They're always sending us questions about, is this the right plastic or not? So that's why the jug got into the bracket. Plastic jugs, seed number 8 for the plastics region.
All right, versus clamshell, number 1. Take notes, people. All right, what's our next matchup, Gemini?
All right, next matchup, we have our number 4 seeded plastic bag matching up with the number 5 foam block.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So for the plastic bag and the foam block, we got number 4 and number 5 together here. So these are really close, right? So plastic bags are something we've talked a lot about. So these require a little bit of a special handling. Styrofoam block there, on the other hand, Pat.
It's a special item pickup.
Absolutely. So this is going to be a really close matchup that you're going to want to watch. All right. Gemini, what's our next matchup here?
All right. Let's move on to the 6 versus the 3. At the 6 seed, we've got a plastic envelope. With the number 3 seed, we've got the plastic cup.
Ubiquitous solo cup here, people. There we go. So,
the plastic envelope is a curveball. I'll tell you that right now. It's even tough for me to keep track of my plastic envelope card. That's how much of a curveball it is.
So plastic cup, number 3, right? A lot of people might be like, this one's pretty straightforward. But you know what? There's liquids that can contain in this. As you guys all know, with Recycle Right rules, empty, clean, and dry is really key. So we definitely get a lot of questions about this one as well. So you're going to want to watch these 2 matchups. They're going to be tough and maddening for different reasons. So.
All right.
All right.
Next up.
Really quick, we got a comment here that said, They're wondering about what to do with plastic bags now. So for plastic bags, they require special handling. They don't go in your cart anymore. You need to bag them and take them back to a local retail location.
That's
so
right.
we can share a link in our show notes, or the best thing to do for any questions you have is go to our Where Does It Go tool. So seattle.gov, where does it go? There you go.
Thank you for providing those details, Becca, and thank you both for providing these visuals. They've been great. So on to our next matchup, we've got the can carrier going with number 7 seed.
So can carrier, number 2 versus number 7. So this one, you know, it's looking pretty solid, right? But we do get a lot of questions. This is a pretty new product that's come on the market here. So that's why we've gotten a lot of questions. You'll see, you can't really see on here, but if you guys have seen this product in person, it says, you know, it's made out of generally almost 100% recycled PET, which is a really great sign, but it's flat. And those of you who may remember back in the day when we had those little 6 plastic rings, remember those, Pat?
Yeah.
And everybody was cutting those babies up. Exactly. So this one will be interesting, hence the number 2. Plastic bucket there, Pat?
Plastic bucket's a good go-to recyclable item. Again, we're not worried about the resin code. It's a rigid plastic bucket. So it's a pretty solid recyclable. I'll say that.
So we'll see. We'll see how these two end up playing out. All right. So that's it. That's all of it for the plastics region. Gemini, which region are we going to next?
Do you want to go to paper region? Okay, and so our number 1 seeded item coming out of paper was Tetra Pak, and going against our number 8 seed, which would be the newspaper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any
so Tetra Pak, also called aseptic cartons. Those are both 2 very jargony words. You can also think of them as like kind of shelf-stable liquid products. So
or milk carton.
Or milk cartons. We get a lot of questions about this because it's a paper product that's got a plastic coating on it. So definitely, that's why we're at a number 1 seed here for the Tetra Pak. So Pat, what about number 8, newspapers?
Well, newspaper, and it's another bubbly, you know, a bubble item. It's not that maddening. Most folks know, but there's a lot of stuff that comes in your Sunday paper. There's different inserts or different sticky things. So we get questions a lot. You know, can this promotional element that came in my Sunday paper go in with the recycling? So it's still a maddening category, newspaper. I'll give you that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. What's up next in paper, Gemini? What's our next matchup?
From there, we're going to go to the 5 versus 4, another toss-up. We got 5 seed paperback books, and we've got the 4 seed junk mail.
So junk mail's going to be kind of this. Oh, we got paperback
books. We're both doing junk mail. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
There's a lot of junk mail out there, right?
It
just keeps coming. So.
So this is a real toss-up.
It is a real toss-up. I mean, hence we've got number 5 seed paperback books versus number 4 seed junk mail. You know, there's a lot of kind of different materials involved in both of these items. So we'll be really interested to see how this matchup plays out. This is gonna be a tough one. I'll be curious to see how the analytics work out on this one too. We're right there with you folks.
I can't wait to see y'all's brackets so we can see what you're thinking.
Absolutely. All right, what's our next matchup in the paper region, Gemini?
Perfect. We got the 3 seeded bakery box going against the 6 seed cardboard.
Okay, so bakery box, same kind of thing. We got some mixed materials here. We've got kind of this plastic item here, you know, the little windows. We definitely get questions about that. That makes sense. Cardboard. I don't know, Pat. That seems like I'm surprised that made it out of the at-large selection, quite honestly.
I hear you. It is. You're right. It's not even that low of a seed. It's a 6 seed, I think.
Yeah.
But the point is, we still get a lot of questions. There's the tape and the staples and the labels, how flat is flat, you know. So there's a lot of cardboard out there right now. So we're getting a lot of questions about that. Remember, folks, that's what we're gauging this on. The most maddening items is how often we receive questions, how often we get emails, how often people are using the Where Does It Go lookup tool online. Those are the statistics that we're using to gauge the most maddening items.
Absolutely. All right. And where's our last matchup in the paper region there, Gemini?
Okay, our final matchup of this region, we're going to go with the paper carryout box as a 2 seed going against number 7 magazines.
Again, it's that mixed material with the paper, right?
Yeah.
Pat and I talk all the time about how the value in paper recycling is in the fiber. When you've got these mixed materials, this has usually got a plastic coating. Magazines, Pat, all kinds of coatings, right?
You know, magazines, my goodness. Magazines now, they're so durable. It's unbelievable how thick and durable the pages are. So It's not like the old magazines. Yeah, the paperboard, the box you're holding, that's a real curveball for folks too. A lot of questions come in about their carry-out food items. So this is going to be a toss-up in my book.
Yeah, even though we've got a number 2 versus what seed is magazines there, Pat?
6 or 7? Yeah.
Okay.
7.
So I mean, yeah, so it's a 7 seed, but
7 seed.
like we were just saying, there's a lot of mixed materials here. I will be very curious to see how these two play out because I think they actually are a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, and there could be some upsets here, folks. Depends on what all the what folks think. So we'll see.
Absolutely. All right, Gemini, which region are we going to next?
Yeah, great point, Pat. You never really have a bracket without upsets. So yeah, want people to keep track of those. Let's go ahead and move down to the textiles and housewares region, where we've got our number 1 seeded shoes going against number 8.
Got some nice classic basketball sneakers in here.
Absolutely. I remember running track in the All-Stars there. I would not recommend that. I would get something with a little more cushion, let me tell you. So, I mean, there's shoes. We get a lot of questions. Again, mixed materials. Clothes number 8, I'm going to see how these do. We've got Thread Cycle, which is a fantastic program for, reclaiming and recycling all kinds of different textiles. So it'll be interesting to see this matchup between number 8 clothes and number 1 shoes.
Yeah, I mean,
shoes
have been part of the Thread Cycle program for years, but it's really still a category where folks have questions. Yeah. So we get a lot of questions on this.
I mean, I hesitate too, people. You look at it, you're like, boy, there's a lot of rubber and plastic in there. So we'll see. We'll see how this matchup plays out. All right. What's up next, Gemini? What's our next matchup?
Moving on to our next matchup, we've got number 4, which is throw pillows going against number 5, curtains.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I mean, again, talking about the Thread Cycle program, and in theory, these are actually pretty similar, right? So which is why we've got the 4 and the 5 here. So these can kind of go either way. There are some changes to the Thread Cycle program. Pat and I talk a lot about 2 things you need to be for an item to be recyclable: sortation and markets. Mm-hmm. So no different with the fiber. So it really depends on what the textile markets look like. And those, like everything, they change. Right. So this will be a really interesting matchup to see how these ones play out. I mean, really, it could go either way between throw pillars or curtains.
Could go either way.
So, absolutely. All right. What's our next matchup, Gemini?
Our next matchup at the 3 seed, we've got speakers, and at the 6 seed, we got rugs.
This is quite the matchup because you got really different categories.
Yeah.
Totally different things here, right? Electronics. There is definitely a system that takes these things back and breaks these things down. Not every part of this is recyclable, but through the eCycle Washington program, we have a lot of really great stuff, though they don't necessarily cover maybe Bluetooth speakers. Rugs, on the other hand, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, a throw rug, a good welcome mat, things like that. There are rugs like that the reuse thrift outfits are happy to receive if they're in good condition. Even if they're not, then they'll recycle the thread as a Thread Cycle effort. So this is both, the categories of where we're really looking to our service providers in the material management sector to kind of give us indications of how to manage these things, but we still get a lot of questions on both these for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right. What's our final matchup in this category, Gemini, in this region?
Our final matchup of the region, number 2 seed, light bulbs going against number 7.
We get a lot of questions about these light bulbs, right, people? So we have a really good program, Light Recycle, and those items do get recycled. These are reclaimed because of the mercury. We don't want anybody being exposed to those. There are several options for recycling them, but people are still, we get a lot of questions about these because you do want to have a real special handling on those, hence the number 2 seed for this one.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good matchup. I mean, I'll be curious to see how people come down on this. The whole sheets and linen, so they're very, very collectible through the thrift program. The threads can be recycled, or the sheets can obviously be reused, resold to folks who need them.
Absolutely. I know. I hear you, Katie. Let's go light bulbs. They're going to light this region up, people. Number 2. All right, Gemini, let's go to our last region.
I'm loving the description of all these items. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the last region here. And for our final region, we've got metal and electrical. At the number 1 seed, we've got the gas canister going against the number 8 seed, batteries.
So number 1 gas canisters. These were something that were added recently to the special item pickup. You know, it's solid steel, metal's very recyclable, same with batteries, which is why this is an interesting matchup. We've got number 1 versus the number 8, but they both have some pretty big similarities and require a special handling.
That's
So
right. It's great to have the gas canisters in the mix. You know, this is a fairly new recyclable item
yep.
for our program. Batteries been around a long time, but there's so many different batteries now.
Oh man,
These
so many.
Max, you know, and supers and ultras, and so
Lithium.
A lot of questions come in about batteries still, people.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I mean, there's a lot of juice with batteries here, Kate. I'm feeling that for sure. All right. What's our next matchup, Gemini?
Our next matchup, the evenly close one. We have string lights at number 4 versus number 5. Television.
Okay. Well, 2 different categories, 2 different services. One very seasonal in the string lights, of course, and then television's big thanks to our eCycle Washington governing agency who oversees the collection of these types of materials statewide with a lot of participating drop-off sites. So, yeah, it's kind of a toss-up.
This will be interesting. I mean, like you said, with eCycle, that's a very accessible program through special item pickup as well. String lights, very seasonal. There's really only one avenue for recycling them. The only part of this item that is recyclable is the copper wire. So all of the other stuff needs to be stripped away.
Yeah.
So this will be a really interesting matchup. I think that's why they're number 4 and number 5 seed, because they're different, but kind of similar. So we'll see. We'll see where this one plays out.
Let's see. Sounds good.
All right. What's our next matchup here, Gemini?
Okay, our next matchup at the 3 seed, we've got the aerosol can. That's number 6 seed.
Or Pam.
Yeah.
So we get a ton of questions about aerosol cans because a lot of things come with an aerosol condensation to it. Things like Pam, hairspray, you know, insulating foam. There's so many different kinds. We tend to separate them into hazardous and non-hazardous, but still you've got the sealed can with an accelerant in it. So that is definitely makes sense of why aerosol cans are number 3.
Yeah. And
toasters,
you know, it's a scrap metal item. I mean, if it's not working anymore, it is. If it's still working, then it obviously goes right through the thrift program. So, but as these questions come in about toasters, it's like, can I put it in my cart? We would prefer folks take it to the transfer station, drop it off in the scrap metal pile. So that's toaster.
Yep, but we got a lot of metal, right? And we're always telling people it's like metal recycles almost indefinitely, right? So you really want to make sure that this material gets captured if it can be. So it's not thrown into the garbage, because this just gets melted down and turned into new stuff really, really quickly, which is amazing. So definitely want to keep an eye out. Yeah. All right. Our final matchup for the metal and electronics.
Yes, our final matchup at the 2 seed, cell phones versus number 7 seed.
Yeah. Very different things here for sure.
Yeah.
You know, there is not, I mean, I wish that there was kind of a standard program for cell phone take back. You know, unfortunately, like, even though these things are so expensive, but there are a lot of them out there, right? And some of them are broken, some of them are reusable. So there are options for both of those depending. For bottle caps though, so that makes sense of why cell phones are number 2 seed here.
That's right. It's a very, I mean, a lot of folks write in about that. They want to do the right thing. There's a lot of, materials inside the cell phones that are very valuable. Bottle caps, you know, metal bottle caps. You know, we get a lot of questions about bottle caps or caps on bottles. So there's the plastic caps on plastic bottles, but these metal bottle caps, these are ones that are for scrap metal recycling only, not in the blue cart. And so it's kind of a toss-up. We got a lot of questions on both these.
All right. Speaking of toss-up, Pat, you want to flip your card there for a sec?
Oh!
Whoa! Perfect.
All right.
Thanks, Pat.
All right. So, folks, that was a really quick lightning round. 32 of the most maddening items here. So, Gemini, I want you to recap for folks of how they can play along with us. Because this week, with the big reveal, you guys have a little sneak peek on how things are ranked, why they got seated the way that they are, and how are people going to play with us.
Yes, thank you, Becca. And please continue to follow our SPU accounts, as we'll be providing the link for you to download your bracket. We're going to ask you to rank the item by how difficult they are to recycle in Seattle, and submit your bracket by noon, March 9th. That's next Wednesday by noon. Please be sure to submit your bracket and ask for a chance to win some swag. You can also, if you don't want to download the bracket, you can also, or I'm sorry, to download the bracket, you can download a fillable PDF and email it to askevelyn@seattle.gov. We will also include a link to our blog with all details for you to get in the game.
So Pat,
it's so easy. Yeah, it's easy as pie. Do the bracket. That way you might get yourself one of these reusable totes, a bag. You might even get one of these reusable tote bags. Or who knows, maybe you'll get one of these reusable tote bags. We've got tote bags, people. We also got stickers. Got stickers for your bins at home. You can set up little kind of bin labels at home for your regular bins or for your special event bins. You have backyard barbecue. You have some stickers for that, whatever. So we've got options for you. A lot of good stuff to help you recycle more.
Absolutely. So we got a question of what is the question you're answering between these items? Absolutely. So
yeah,
because like everything on Ask Evelyn, it's all run on your questions, including how we rank these items. That's how they were seeded. So with our last matchup of bottle caps versus cell phones, what you are trying to predict is based on what you think the number and frequency of questions that were asked about each item. Which one was asked about more? That's what you're trying to figure out. And that's who the champion will be. The item that ultimately wins the Recycle Madness Championship is the one that we got the most questions about. So it's kind of your predictive skills based on some of the information we gave you guys in this show about how they were seated in their different places. It gives you some hints. There are some upsets in there though as well. So this will be, I mean, it wouldn't be Recycle Madness without that. So definitely.
Thank you, Becca. It's a great description.
So yes, absolutely. So we're going to have links to everything. You can look at our blog at yourservice.seattle.gov. And that's where you're going to find all the information about Recycle Madness. You don't have to remember all this. We're going to have links to the downloadable PDF. Send them to us. I checked the askevelyn@seattle.gov email address today, and we've already got some submissions. So thank you guys. And definitely get them in by March 9th next week so you can get some of that awesome swag that Pat was showing off there. And even though this month we're going to be doing Recycle Madness all month, keep your questions coming. We love hearing from you. Send them to us on Facebook, IG, Twitter. Send us an email, askevelyn@seattle.gov, because we just want to keep them coming, and that just all feeds into the championship rounds. So keep that stuff coming. All right. So, Gemini, thank you so much for hosting.
Thank you, Becca, and I'll look forward to continuing every week with this and throughout the month of March.
Absolutely.
A lot of fun.
All right, folks.
All right.
So
with that, I'll sign off first. My name is Pat, and I want you all to remember to recycle right. Gemini, over to you.
And I'm Gemini, and ensure your waste goes to the right place.
Life simpler with less stuff. Fill out your brackets, send them to us, and join us next week for the sweetest round of 16. All right. See you next week, guys. Download the brackets.
See you later.
All right, see you all. Thank you.